My Community for 541 Social and Economic Justice too. My community is Elberton, Georgia. We live on this lake, Lake Russell, and it's about 10 minutes from Anderson, South Carolina, or an hour from Athens, Georgia, where the University of Georgia is located. Just a quick overview. Population's about 19,000. Number of employees is about 7,000. A lot of the people that live here on the lake are retirees, so they have done their service and now they get to just enjoy being peaceful. Poverty rate is about 19%, and that is a little high, but this is a very rural community. Demographics, based on Data USA, Caucasians are about 60%, African Americans about 30%, with Hispanics and multiracial under 10%. Crime in Elberton, this was startling to see that the United States average runs about 200, where Elberton, Georgia, the property crime rate was over 500 and 600 for violent crimes. It seems many of the violent crimes are committed on family members. See, the opioid epidemic has hit Elberton, Georgia, and when people are short on money, they go to their family, and when family doesn't cooperate or tries to plan an intervention, then violence breaks out. The children who live in Elberton, Georgia, the school system has about 3,000 children. African Americans are the majority, almost 60%, and they clumped everyone else together in minority at about 42%. The high school graduation rate is a sad 66%. The elementary school, middle school, high school, and the technical college are all on this one street here. I think the saddest statistic I had to learn through the social workers here at the school system, 10% are foster children, where 40% of children in Elbert County are in displaced homes. Now, out of those, 100% are living with relatives, but there just seems to be so many grandparents who are raising their grandchildren while their parents are either addicted and unable and unfit to be parents at this time, or they have been sent to prison and their rights have been taken away from them. As far as formal institutions, this beautiful quarry will show you the biggest economic factor here. I can't tell you how deep this is. I am not good with measurements, but you see the tractor all the way at the top, how teeny tiny it looks to this humongous quarry. Most of you have been touched by Elberton, Georgia, whether you realize it or not. 90% of the world gets their main source. Can you guess what it is? It's granite. They pride themselves, y'all, on the granite that they produce here. The headstones in every shape and size, some of them are so beautiful with etchings and different things. It's just amazing the artistry that goes into this. Every local business has a sign made of granite. Every church has a sign made of granite. There's statues. The Georgia Guidestones are in 10 languages there. It's a small tourist attraction, but it's beautiful to visit. With the production, management, moving materials of the truck drivers to the CSX transportation, to some of the administration and the sales of granite, it takes up about 50% of the economy here. Is being pumped in. I do believe when I went to the Granite Memorial, they said $250 million are spent here in Elberton County, or brought into the community in Elberton County for the granite. There's formal institutions, churches. There's 72 churches. There's 3 fire stations. Only 1 is full-time. The hospital, it can't perform evasive procedures. It's so small. No babies can be born here. You either have to cross the state line and go in South Carolina, or you drive an hour to Athens, Georgia, or you have a home birth. There's 1 behavioral clinic, and they're only open Monday through Thursday. There's no hospice house. There are no shelters. It's a very rural community. They pride themselves on the Granite Bowl. It's the 2nd largest stadium in Georgia. Houses 150,000 people. If you notice here in the background, this is the jail. Prisoners used to be able to come out on Friday night and watch the football games until some riots have been ensued, so now that's stopped. The Lake Russell State Park is huge. Every country boy's dream, camping, fishing. They have triathlons for the athletes. They have a huge golf course, and they do quite a few golf tournaments and try to give back to community that way. There's a recreation center at, they call it the Rock. It's at one of the larger churches in the community. There's a county park and recs and Camp Harmony for kids to attend camps and to play sports. Then the time capsule is kind of the adult entertainment. It's not a bar or a nightclub. They just host different events, different organizations here. The adult prom night was last week. There was a St. Patrick's dance. But again, it's that for adults that are just looking to get out and have a good time. This is a map of Elberton, satellite view, aerial view. According to our Ohio State statistics, is it a good community? Well, it's not a safe place to live based on crime, but there are safe routes to get out for natural disasters. Housing and cost of living are comparable for the economy. The character that binds people together, it is a Bible Belt community. If you are a God-fearing Christian, this is a good spot for you. The parents who get sent away, who can't raise their children, they do have family members who step up. So I think that is a wonderful value and goal here. People are treated as whole persons. Everybody knows everyone. And community help is given over government. There's no hospice house. There is no, there's no grieving support system. Anything that you need counseling for, any mental health that you feel would help you make it through this life a little bit easier, you have to go find a church. One church on the corner had a community outreach for recovery system. Another church was known for the grief counseling that they would have that's given by the pastor. There's a shelter at a church. If you are running low on food, you can go there like a food bank and pick it up, but again, it's all run through churches. Day-to-day relations predictable? Yes. Everyone knows everyone. The school pickup line, you don't have a number that hangs from your car. You get in the line and the adults there know you by face and they know your child, and then they just escort your child over to you. The patriarch society here is stemming heavily. What Daddy says goes. The opportunity for growth and fulfillment. Elberton has plenty of room for growth. The youth here are starving for culture, for different recreational institutions besides just sports. They do promote a tolerance within their family units to have that homogeneous harmony, but they still are adjusting to our world that is growing with diversity. They do not have the tolerance that a lot of major cities have. Elberton, Georgia adheres to most of Ohio State's university guidelines for a successful community. However, I think it's an individual decision on what you consider to be important. When I said to someone, boy, Elberton has a lot to offer the dying with their monuments, but they don't offer a lot for the living, and I think I offended a lifelong resident here, which is quite common, because she said, no, we do have those. It's just within the community. We don't need the government's help. We don't need a hospice house to help us. If our family are dying, then they come to our house and we take care of Mama, and she can pass it home, and we can take care of Daddy. And there's a cancer foundation because someone in the community passed, and now they've, have established at the bank a community outreach. If you need financial assistance and your family has cancer, then you go to them and they do give out money. So it's just a very small rural community that helps one another. We have lived here, my family, for a year. We are moving next month to Phoenix, Arizona. Our family is a Jewish family, and our children have had instances of our holidays where they've invited kids over and their parents have told them they're not allowed because they're Christian and we're Jewish, and you don't mix friendships like that. And I think it's heart-wrenching for my children to have experienced this rural southern bigotry, ignorance that I hope by moving to such a large town as Phoenix, Arizona, that they will be able to experience a little bit more of culture, and they will be able to experience diversity, and they will see equality within genders and within races. So I'm looking forward to the move. God bless the people that live here, and if you're looking for a good Bible Belt community, this is it for you. These are my resources. I hope you have a good night. Thank you so much.